So it is January 2022. Yesterday I released a video called Kazakhstan, which doesn't have too much about Kazakhstan in it because I don't know too much about Kazakhstan. But I noticed that within an hour, I thought 6 people had watched it. But of course, what had happened in an hour is that it had received 6 views. And I'm thinking, well, who are these people that are watching this video? And then I remembered, if you click on it 6 times, then that's 6 views, and that could be one person. And I also remembered that when I watch YouTube videos, I watch 1 second here, skip to another one, 2 seconds there, play the video while I'm doing something else and have no idea what the video is about. So I'm thinking, well, who wants to hear me talk about Kazakhstan? But that led me to go to my YouTube channel and to look at put the videos in most viewed order, see which video had been viewed the most. And apparently 500 and some people clicked on the video in which I sang a song. I think it was called the Jolene Challenge. I don't know. It was Sing the Song Jolene. I always liked the song Jolene. I remember when it was on the radio as a hit. That was probably 1972 or 74 or something like that. I don't really know. And I basically post videos to, well, who knows? I'm getting to the point where I don't think we know our own motivations. I don't think we know our own reasons. But one reason I post videos is to get over the fact that somebody might see me, judge me, that I have to look a certain way, say a certain thing, be a certain way to be in, I was going to say to be in public, but no, I'm a actor, a musician, singer, and I'm choosing to do some things that are in front of an audience. And this is a very different type of audience than when I'm in a show. I'm on my way to rehearsal right now. But I want to become comfortable on the camera. And so this is helping that. But it's also just a way to talk and talk to yourself, but allow somebody else to watch it if they want to. So anyway, so when I was little, I don't remember a time when I didn't want to write a book. I think that for creative people and for people who like to read and for people who like to learn, we all fell in love with books, and we pictured ourselves writing books. Later I thought, oh, maybe I'll write an opera, maybe I'll write a symphony, maybe I'll write a song, a hit song, maybe I'll write, this or that. So we all have the desire to create stuff. There's a quote by Picasso that says something like, he's continuing to do what every person does. So in other words, children draw, and children play, and children explore and create things, and then many adults stop doing that, but he kept doing it. Of course, he was also very well trained. I mean, if you think you know what Picasso's look like, it's probably because you've only seen some things from 1 or 2 periods in his life and his development. But he had a long career, and he could do anything. So I think what he did is he combined a free spirit, a willingness to explore things that children have that most adults give up, with hours and hours of study, of studying the great masters, learning how to paint like they painted, and then taking that foundation to a new level. Anyway, so 500 people clicked on my video of Jolene. I just changed, 5 words, and it's from Jolene's husband's perspective. So it's not it's not about the guy who's cheating on Jolene. It's the guy who loves Jolene, that's married to Jolene, and wants her to stop flirting with the other guy. So it's a twist on it. Funny enough, the rehearsal I'm going to right now is a Dolly Parton musical. It's fascinating to me that her first movie was 9 to 5, and that the story is that she didn't know how films were made, and she thought they were going to film each scene in order like a play. Like they're going to film the first scene, then they're going to film the second scene, then they're going to film the third scene, and that she learned all the words and expected it to be like a play. It seems a little naive, but you know, perhaps that's true. There's a certain amount of common sense, intelligence, but naivete in her image, and that story certainly fits right in with the image that she has. There's a lot of interesting Dolly Parton things to me, because she was one of my favorites. She was probably my favorite celebrity when I was 8, and I just like her music, and I like her acting to some degree, various degrees. Anyway, so she made 9 to 5 as an actress, and then the script says that she wrote the lyrics and the music and lyrics by Dolly Parton. Oh yeah? Okay. Having heard her sing, I don't know, 100 songs, 300 songs, 500 songs, having heard her sing many songs, and having heard a lot of those songs that she's written, she didn't write some of this stuff. It's a common practice to get a famous person with somebody else who's not as famous and to write together, and then to either say the song was written by both people, use the famous person's reputation to get the less famous one's work out there, or to just ghostwrite it and slap somebody's name on it. The song 9 to 5, I have absolutely no doubt that she wrote it. The story is, the narrative is, that she's clicking her fingernails, I suppose acrylic fake nails, in the movie set, on the movie set, when there's nothing to do. You know, you sit around a lot of time in movies. That probably was a surprise to anyone who hasn't made a movie. You sit around for a long time. And she was making the typewriter sounds with her nails. Now that story seems kind of true, kind of interesting. I have no doubt that she wrote that song, because there are hundreds of songs that are said that she's written, and they all have a certain kind of authenticity, or they're just good songs. They're just good songs. Like probably her worst songs are still pretty good. You know, she's like a songwriter. But a lot of these songs, some of these songs, just do not fit within anything else that she's written. They just don't go with the things that she's written. And the only reason I bring that up is her image is almost one of sainthood. So she's like given a pass. She's got the good lady narrative, the nice woman narrative, like she's never done anything wrong. And she's allowed to have this narrative for decades. There's a video of her and Cher, and it's a Heaven and Hell medley, or an Angel and Devil medley, something like that. And Cher plays the bad girl, and she's kind of, I don't know, she's wearing black and she's brunette, and Dolly plays the angel, and she's, you know, the blonde and the good one. And that meme or that idea was used on Bewitched. The heroine was blonde, the evil twin or evil sister or evil cousin or whatever was brunette. Same thing with Archie, with Betty and Veronica. Betty was blonde and good. Veronica was brunette and more interesting but bad. And the same thing with I Dream of Jeannie. Barbara Eden was blonde, and when she put on the black wig, she was the bad girl. So Dolly is the good girl in the narrative, in the annals of entertainment. And when I was at Dollywood, I saw a video of her as a redhead, and I almost fell on the floor. And I suddenly realized, oh my gosh, obviously I've seen her in 100 different dresses and 100 different wigs, but blonde is such a big part of her image that when I saw her as a redhead, she looked beautiful. She was wearing clothes that she might otherwise wear. She wasn't like completely different than what she usually is, but she was a redhead. I was like, who's that? So I realized that her image is just very blonde, which everybody already knew, but the extent to which I didn't recognize her when she was a redhead was just amazing to me. For someone who's seen her many, many times in many, many different outfits and, you know, decades of entertainment. I mean, how many photo shoots has she had? Anyway, so it's important to note her place in the narrative as we go from a Christian nation to a post-Christian nation. Her willingness to accept sexuality but still be perceived as a good girl is similar to Marilyn Monroe's. You know, Marilyn was kind of the bad girl with the heart of gold, or not really the bad girl, but the I don't know. Dolly and Marilyn are both so fake and so real. So their shtick is their artificiality and their authenticity together, mirroring each other, you know. And so Dolly is interesting in that vein. There are Dolly Parton prophecies. Prophecy is a part of Christianity that I haven't gotten too much involved in, but there are people you can find on TV and on YouTube who say they've heard this and that from the Lord, and they say what's going to happen. And if you Google it, you can see that there are Dolly Parton prophecies about how that part of the country, Eastern Tennessee, is going to be led by Dolly and others to a renewed, refreshed, great awakening, revival of Christianity. That's interesting. Recently, she got a lot of flack because she reposted a picture of herself in a Playboy bunny suit. Um, I remember when Playboy was uh, just unacceptable, and now it's like cutesy. So we've come a long way in a few decades with our acceptance of sexuality, and Dolly Parton was part of that. Marilyn Monroe's part of that. Pretty much all the female stars um, would not have been stars unless they were perceived as sexy. That was their calling card. Um, and Dolly continued that Mae West tradition, but she certainly put her own spin on it. There's really no other person that is like Dolly Parton. She's like carved her own niche, carved her own place in the entertainment sphere, but using different bits and pieces of things that were already there to become very successful and very beloved. If you talk about the beloved stars, the stars known for their goodness, Definitely got Dolly Parton, Tom Hanks, and Ellen DeGeneres used to have it, and now there's some problems with that. But this idea that a star is so good is just it's a very interesting one. If you watch Dolly Parton hosting Saturday Night Live, she's there's a skit where she's the country girl that goes to the big city and everybody becomes nice from just being around her. And there's a lot of truth to um, thinking positive. There's a lot of truth to youthful innocence and naivete and giving everybody a chance. And there's a lot of power in there. And she's certainly ridden that idea and taken it to great success. So anyway, so I'm at rehearsal for a Dolly Parton musical. Um, and that was a little bit about Jolene, because I realized 500 and some people may have heard me sing that song. So that's kind of interesting. We've just got so many entertainment options that it's not really that surprising that in the huge amount of people that are clicking on videos that many people clicked on my video, but it's still kind of like, wow, that's neat. I just finished my first movie, my second movie, but my first movie that's probably going to get released, and I noticed that it's with a person that everybody knows his name, and I'm like, wow, I'm in the same movie with this person who I've never met, but he came to see a show I was in once, and I'm on the same IMDb website that Marilyn Monroe's on, whatever. So YouTube is interesting because anybody can put anything out there and people all over the world can see it. So it's nice to dip my pinky toe into that pool of potential fans, audience members, people who might be interested in something I have to say. Um, I think there's value in just turning on the camera and talking, but I also think that um, edited videos are just much more interesting. If you want to know about the evolution of YouTubers, just watch PewDiePie videos and see how some of them have been edited by other people and made to be funny, and they have that same off the cuff feel, but they're just much more professional. Um, so, anyway, I'm at rehearsal. I don't want to be late. That was a little bit about me and Dolly Parton. We don't intersect that much, but we've got a little bit of things in common. So, take care, everybody. Happy January.